Okay, so welcome to Long Island Nightlight interviews. I am Lou, and I'm really pleased to have a special guest this evening for an interview. I'm speaking with Jimmy from Coincidence Machine. Um, I'm going to do my best to describe the style of music which immediately got my attention once Jimmy directed me to it. And then Jimmy, of course, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, and you tell me. And I'm going to be all ears and everything, just like listening to your, like your explanation of your musical style and everything. But I personally would call it funky, progressive, jazzy, maybe even bluesy. So without any kind of further ado, I just want to introduce Jimmy, let him introduce himself and see if he agrees with my definition of his music there.
Well, Lou, thank you very much for having me on the program. I appreciate that.
Of
I'm
course.
looking forward to chatting with you. And that's a pretty good description. One of the issues we run into is that everybody in the group loves a lot of different kinds of music, and we don't want to only be a blues band or only be a prog band or only be a this or a that, which goes against all marketing.
Yeah,
All
right.
marketing, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you could look at it that way, but you could also, I mean, from what I was listening to and viewing and everything, I was like, wow, this is just really unique, and it pulled me in right away. So I would like ask, and if you can, tell me as much or tell me as little as you want. um I was checking out Stereotypical Love Song, which I
Uh,
believe is a single from Coincidence Machine. And like, I'm just curious of the writing process. And like I said, you could reveal as much or as little as you want about that. But like, where does a tune like that begin? Like, does it begin with a riff? Does it begin with a beat? Does it begin with a vocal hook? Because, there's just so much going on as far as, in the time signature and the keys and the key signature in that tune. So I just was like real curious to ask you about it.
okay, well, that one I could give a better idea of how that one came about because I do remember most of it. Um, from what you said about the process, though, every every song can doesn't always follow the same thing. I know some people have a thing where I'm going to start with chords and then put a melody, or I'm going to start with this or wherever they start from. With me, I kind of let things happen as that song happens. But when I'm teaching and when I'm getting students to improvise, I'll usually play something and have them improvise on it so they get some practice. And I'll very often, well, when the students get to a certain level, I'll very often do it in an odd time signature so that they're getting some experience not only being in a 4/4 world.
Sure.
So the opening riff to that was one that I was playing behind students all the time for them to jam
That's
on.
really cool.
Yeah. And a thing that happens with me is as I kept playing it, I started hearing other stuff, you know, a melody, hearing the key change that happens in the middle, hearing it in a different mode, because it starts out in like Mixolydian, and then I think it goes into Dorian. That stuff just like, and this is a common thing with me. If there is anything that you could call a process, is that I get an idea, whether it comes to me in a dream or it's something I thought about with playing with students, or an idea I had wanted to explore, but then I just keep playing it, and it's almost like it reveals more of itself to me. Like I don't even feel like I'm writing it. I feel like, oh no, it has to go here now, or I'm hearing it do this now. I will say though that when I had the melody, part of the inspiration for the lyrics is Mose Allison. I don't know whether you know him. Great
No, I don't.
songwriter. Yeah. The Who did a song called "Young Man's Blues," which was actually written by Mose Allison. But I read an interview with him, and he was talking about songwriting. And the interviewer said to him, "Well, you never really write love songs." And Mose said, "Yeah, all love songs are like, I love you so much I don't care if the whole world goes to hell, kind of thing."
Mhm.
And I thought that should actually be a legit love song.
Right, right, like, really leaning into the stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. Hence the name, right, as well. So I kind of kept playing around with phrases like that until the song was done.
Um, so I want to go back to a little something that you mentioned and just see if we kind of like line up. Like when you were talking about writing the song or play, like I sometimes feel I'm a songwriter myself. I sometimes feel like the song reveals itself to me that I'm not creating it, but that it's showing itself to me. And what you were saying before about that kind of like, I just feel like we're in agreement, I guess, with
Yeah,
that, you know. It's just interesting. Yeah, I consider myself more of a revealer than a creator.
and it's funny too because then I think there's this attitude where if you talk about how great your own songs are, people think you're being egotistical, but I don't feel like I had much to do with writing them. It sometimes
Yeah,
doesn't
you
even
just
feel like,
uncovered it, right?
yeah, right. It's
Yeah,
like I
that's
discovered
really
this
interesting.
thing.
I find it interesting too because you and I definitely work in different realms of music, but we're kind of discovering the same things about writing music, even though we're in different genres. And you also mentioned that you teach. Do you teach in public school, Jimmy?
No, no, I teach private lessons. I teach private music
Okay, gotcha,
lessons. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, yeah, because I'm a public school teacher too. So I was like,
So sorry.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I'm gonna counter that by saying I only have about 14 or 15 months left until retirement. So
Oh, good for you.
yeah, yeah,
But it
that
is
is
definitely, I'm certain
fantastic.
you get a lot of return on the fact that you're helping, these people along. And
I used to, you know, before I became really jaded and burnt out. Yeah, I used to lean on that, but I'm not a music teacher. I'm an English teacher. So that's kind of, I mean, I guess that's good too because I don't have to listen to people try to tune up and things like that. Uh, but yeah, but that was, I mean, you just made, I don't think my day, I think you made my life with that reaction. You're just like, I'm sorry. That's fantastic. Um, but may I ask just like how long are you doing the private lessons for? Is that something you've been doing for a long time or?
Well, curiously, I started teaching people when I'd only been playing a few years.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's when I started teaching people for money. I
Sure.
was the guy in, when I started playing in junior high school, I kind of was able to suss more stuff out than some of my peers. So very often they were asking me, well, how did you do that? Well, how do you make that sound? How do you play that tune? So I was kind
Gotcha.
of getting practice teaching, just hanging out with my friends when I was younger.
Gotcha. I wanted to ask also about the musicians that you play with. Um, like particularly the guys I see in the videos. They you can't just bring in anybody to play this style of music. So I'm just curious about, your drummer and your guitar player there and everything.
And yeah, you're right. That is a tricky thing with this kind of music because there aren't, and this isn't meant to sound like, like bragging, but there aren't a lot of people that can play all of those styles or that even want to.
Yeah,
Um,
I wouldn't be able to. I certainly would. And I've been playing music since I was a kid, and it would be very challenging to me. So I don't take it as bragging. It's just the nature of what you're doing there.
mm. So I have been blessed though, in that I've found people who seem to actually enjoy playing this music in this band. Um, and I'm curious as to what their reasons and motivations are. I think that because we've got, like, in the videos that you saw, it's Eli
Mhm.
Maniscalco drums and Matt Klein playing guitar. Um, Matt Klein is amazing at reading music. It's like kind of a treat for me that I could write stuff down and put it in front of him, and he plays it like he wrote it.
That's great.
Yeah. Eli, he thinks he's playing drums. Well, on those albums, he thinks like a producer though, which is great. Like, he'll play like, oh, it should just be like a simple hi-hat thing here, or I shouldn't play at all here, or let's just have bass and snare on this spot. Like,
So he
he's,
sees the big picture of the song.
yeah, like how his part fits in with the other instruments.
Cool.
Um, he also writes stuff too, so he brings another voice to the group.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, Lately, we've been working a lot or performing a lot with, excuse me, Kevin MacLeod from the Kevin MacLeod Band has been playing guitar, and Vicky Leota from Media Crime, drummer, she's played drums with us. And at first, it was because we had some gigs where Matt couldn't make it, So Kevin subbed for him, or Vicky subbed for Eli, and Eli played bass, and I switched to guitar because Eli's actually a great bass player as well.
Oh, cool.
So now it's become kind of this loose-knit group of musicians where we'll play as a trio or a quartet with whatever instrumentation, fits whatever
Fits that
people.
night, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It's tricky for me because sometimes I'm the singer bass player, sometimes I'm the singer and the only guitarist, and sometimes I'm the singer and the second guitarist. So my parts change, but I still
Sure.
have to sing even though my hands are doing something different. And it's weird how minds work. Like
Yeah.
I'm playing something different and now I'm forgetting lyrics. When if I had the bass in my hand, I would know those lyrics. Like
Because those lyrics were all intertwined with that bass part from the repetition of doing it, right?
yes, exactly. I think that's it. It's just muscle memory. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just have to develop it with each of the other parts now. Oh, yeah, it's a, very easy task for you there. Mm.
Yeah.
But that's so cool. So, like, I mean, I'm just curious, whereabouts have you guys played? Do you have things coming up? I'm just curious about the schedule of the band.
Okay, well, we played Bartini in Babylon a bit. We do have a show coming up in April 11th, where we're like early April. We always do a birthday show for me,
Oh, cool.
and it becomes a thing where I invite anybody because there's a few people besides the fact that we've got this group of 5 people who are part of the actual band. There's a few other people who just like the band who are musicians. So
Right.
I make it kind of a jam where if you know a Coincidence Machine song, please sit in and play that song.
Right. That's so cool.
In fact, last year it was I thought it was neat, where a song of ours called Swamp that I wrote. Eli was playing bass, Vicky was playing drums, and I think Kevin and Matt were playing guitars. They're playing the song. I'm not even playing. I'm just able to sit back and actually hear my song played by a group that
That's
I'm not in.
that's
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like out of body kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Out of band experience, I guess.
Yeah.
So you just made Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, I'm just going to say the other place we've been playing a bit lately is Prohibition in Massapequa has been
Cool.
having these things on Wednesdays.
Hmm.
And it would usually be 3 groups, and we've been there like every 2 or 3 months. We usually have a night there where it's us and 2 other groups that we're close with.
That's really cool. I've wanted to do that. I see that, but I'm a school teacher. It's just Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd almost have to go straight from the gig to school. So yeah,
Well,
but
you're off for the summer, though, right?
yeah, and if they do keep that going during the summer, I wouldn't mind getting involved in that
And let
myself.
me know. I'll put you on one of the shows that we do.
Oh, thank you. That would be so awesome.
Yeah.
And we were chatting, there were a couple of things that came up. First was, so you have an April birthday. May I ask when?
The date?
Yeah.
I tell people April 1st because I wish it was.
Okay.
But
Okay.
for me, a birthday is like a week and a half long.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So I
Because
kind of, I'm
I'm
sorry.
April 30th. That's why I'm bugging you about it. So,
Yeah, no, I'm earlier on. I'm within the first week. So yeah.
all right. I see us as, like I said, as disparate as our music is. I see us having a few things in common here. And also, April 11th sounds like a great night, and I'm already double booked for something that night. Yeah, so I was just wondering why the hell April 11th is such a popular date. So, um, but yeah, I already went ahead and booked myself for 2 things that night. So,
Well, good for you.
yeah, so I don't know. I haven't worked that one out yet.
The other thing
Um,
to do though is
yeah.
that we perform a lot where, in fact, we did it today. We will perform and/or rehearse on the Twitch platform.
Oh, gotcha.
It also
So folks can have
simulcasts off
access.
of Facebook, but
Yeah, so
uh,
folks can have access to check you guys out that way.
yeah, and it's a neat thing, at least on Twitch, where I used to feel like it had to be a performance, but people
Mhm.
there, they actually like seeing you play, like they like seeing us. But I think they feel this about the whole platform feels this way about all the streamers. That we'll play a tune, we first play it, and it's terrible because we don't know it yet. And they
Uh-huh.
like to see that. They like to see how, oh, this is how it sounds when a band first learns a tune and how it evolves and how it becomes
Oh,
something
cool.
else. Yeah.
If you, if you're doing one of those streams and you share that with me, I'll share it around if that's something that you want out there, you know?
Oh, please, I would love to. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah, that would be great, and I would check it out myself too.
Yeah.
And, just to like, I know we're kinda going backwards here, but I'm just curious, you personally, how did you get to be this musician? Like, what did you listen to growing up? Who did you emulate? All that kind of thing because, like I said, it's just a unique style, so
Okay. I'll try to be brief. My
that's alright.
my dad played guitar and sang and wrote songs, and he was a big fan of, Bob Dylan, Creedence Clearwater Revival. We had the Beatles and the Stones in the house all the time.
Cool.
Johnny Cash he loved. So I heard a lot of that, and plus he had some weird things. He had Dr. John's The Night Tripper album. He had an Albert King record. So even before I wanted to be a musician, I was exposed to a certain, diversity of things.
Yeah, definitely.
In seventh grade, I think it was, on a field trip. Um, we're probably close in age, so you might remember field trips when somebody would bring one of those little Radio Shack recorders to listen to music with.
Absolutely.
So there was this guy on the field trip, and he was listening to the Jimi Hendrix Woodstock set. And I had never heard a sound like this before. That, like, the sound of his guitar was just enthralling to me. So I went
Uh-huh.
and sat with that guy and talked with him, and then we became really good friends. And then he started taking guitar lessons. And then I thought, and in the beginning, I thought, oh, well, I'll be a bass player. I didn't own a bass, so I would take my dad's acoustic guitar and just learn bass lines on
Gotcha.
it. Now, back then, we didn't have the internet, so it was a little harder to do this, but we were listening to Jimi Hendrix and the stuff related to it, the Doors. I'm trying to think of who other some of the Yardbirds I really liked. And there were some names that kept coming up on these albums, Chester Burnett, McKinley Morganfeld, Elias McDaniel, and somehow we were able to find out, oh, that's Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters. So if Jimi
Oh,
Hendrix is listening to Howlin' Wolf, we should probably listen to Howlin' Wolf.
gotcha.
I started getting really into blues from there. Um, and we became kind of blues purists, which it's kind of funny to think, these two rural kids in their early teens when we're blues purists, fairly pretentious, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but then this experience happened over and over again in my life where I would hear a sound that I'd never heard before and it would captivate me. It happened the first time I heard King Crimson, the first time I heard Mahavishnu Orchestra, first time I heard Pandit Ravi Shankar. I had to find out more about that music. Hearing
Very
Bach,
cool.
hearing all that counterpoint, like this, this is so far divorced from the blues I've been listening to. What is this music about?
That's another thing we have in common. 'Cause I'm a big Bach is one of my favorite composers, and classical was probably my first exposure to music, so,
Oh
um
wow!
yeah, just my mom getting me started on the piano at very young and starting with classical, and then at some point, ran into Queen and Led Zeppelin, and then, things changed, but like I said, it's just interesting because, I going into this interview, this discussion with you, I said, I said to myself, I'm gonna be treading in waters that I'm not very confident in, because I just of the past history of music and everything that I have. But I'm fine with that because I'm always open to learning, you know what I mean? So
And what
but I
instrument
but
do you play? Do you play
I
the keyboard or?
I started, I guess piano is my main instrument. My mom started me at home when I was 3 or 4, but I do play guitar in my own band, and
Okay.
I have played bass, and I do play drums a little bit. So, um, but I guess, where I was going is that, you and I are definitely different musically, but I keep seeing commonalities as we go through things, which is kind of cool because it's like you're on your own musical path, but there are certain absolutes that you discover, And other musicians discover them too, and it's kind of cool.
I think you find that some of the greatest musicians in any genre don't just listen to that genre. I don't
Yeah,
think you become
absolutely.
a great blues player by only listening to blues. I don't think you become a great bebop player by only listening to bebop. I think those people will. In fact, there's a great story I read in a biography on Keith Richards where him and his girlfriend at the time, this was early on in the Stones' career, but they'd gotten an apartment someplace, and their neighbors kept complaining because he would be cranking his stereo up and blasting Rachmaninoff at like full volume.
Hmm.
And
That's
here's Keith playing in the Stones, like a pop, blues rock group, but he loved Rachmaninoff and would crank that shit up.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there's something in there, whether it's like you said, the counterpoint, or there's something in there that is, I don't know if it's showing up in his own music, but it's informing it in some way.
Yeah.
And I think that's, yeah, it's really cool, and the diversity. I mean, that's what I love about the radio station too. Lionel Radio is super diverse. Your guys' music would fit right in. So you ever want to
Oh,
send me anything? Yeah, I'd be thrilled to
please,
play
we'll
it.
have to talk about that. I'll
Yeah,
send you.
yeah, yeah, of course. And I also would like for you to, keep Lionel Radio in the loop with your Twitch performances and any of your live shows. Just send me that kind of thing, and I'll spread it around, and I'll attend myself, except for April 11th, because I'm already going to be dividing myself in two. But yeah, Jimmy, I've really appreciated talking to you. Like I said, I knew from, just from listening to you guys a little bit, that this is going to be really informative for me, and it has been. So I hope you'll continue to stay in touch, and keep sharing your music and everything with myself and the Lionel audience.
Yeah, I would love to. And I said, it'd be great to hear what you do. And I would love to when when school's out,
Yeah.
keep in. We can put you on one of those things, but you just have to promise me not to suck that night.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, I speak for myself, and I'll say I won't suck that night, but I got to get that affirmation from the rest of the guys in the group
Yeah,
too. So
you could be
I'm not.
bad, but just don't suck.
Yeah. No, we have a hard time sucking at this. You know, we've been at it for long enough where I think that even our worst is not going to be suck. So I think we're
Well, and
safe.
that's the work ethic a lot of us have as musicians, where we tend to be harsher on ourselves, where we're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that show wasn't so good," but it
Yeah.
probably was pretty good. We just want
Yeah.
it to be perfect.
Yeah, and we've also been kind of playing the same dozen songs for a while, so it's hard to suck at
Oh,
that.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
um, but yeah, like I said, Jimmy, my pleasure, chatting with you tonight and everything. If you don't mind just hanging out for a moment while I just wrap things up.
And
Just
it
gonna
was
wrap
my
it up
honor
with a
being
little.
on the show.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so for those of you that are checking out the video here, appreciate it. Make sure you like and comment. Make sure you check in the description too. There'll be some juicy links there to check out for Coincidence Machine. But once again, I am Lou. This is Lionel Radio. If you are listening to the audio of this, I appreciate that as well. And just keep in mind that Lionel Radio is 24/7 music and music content. Make sure you download your free Lionel Radio app. So once again, have a great evening. Thanks a lot, Jim. And okay.